Hi, my name is Margot. I am Project Development Manager at Dalival IFO.
And I am Valerie, the Head of Breeding at IFO.
And we are happy to present to you Tonic, the variety with a tonic taste all year round.
We observed Tonic for the first time in 2007. Its attractive color caught our eye in the orchard. Tonic is a bicolor apple with a bright pink-red skin color. From the beginning, we had the feeling that the variety had exceptional storage potential because even after storage, the variety stood out. The variety is not only attractive, it also has a very enjoyable bite thanks to its tonic taste. The harvest parameters of Tonic measured for a period of 5 years by the research station La Morinière in France illustrate well this tonic taste profile. As you can see, the flesh is very firm, with 9 kg per square centimeter, a sugar level of 15 degrees Brix, and a malic acidity of 8.5 grams per liter. Tonic sanguinese at harvest slowly decreases during storage and makes Tonic a well-balanced apple. In summary, the fruit has a balanced flavor with a high level of sugar and acidity and a firm and juicy texture. This taste profile has also been confirmed in a blind test that was set up by the research station Rheinfalk in Germany. Tonic was compared to commercial variety Envie. As you can see on the graph, the panel evaluated the flesh quality of the two varieties as very similar. Both received high scores on firmness, juice, and crunch. The observed difference between the two varieties is that Envie, the yellow line, is a sweet apple, whereas Tonic, the red line, has a good level of acidity. In other tests carried out by the same research station, Tonic was compared to Brabant after 5 months of storage. The result is very clear. Tonic had maintained its eating qualities, while Brabant in green received a very low score on almost all aspects. The last graph displays a test that was done at IFO by a non-expert panel. The variety was compared to Story in a Head, the blue line. A variety is known for its storability. Here, the panel perceived the firmness as similar, but Tonic scored better on juice and texture. Overall, Tonic is appreciated for its eating qualities by the different panels. Now that we've talked about the fruit itself, its look and taste, Margot will move on with the tree performance.
Tonic has a good performance in the orchard with regular yields and good fruit size. 7 years of observation at the research station La Morinière in France teaches that on average the main fruit size is between 75 and 85 millimeters. These are the orange and gray segments. Main fruit production is on the terminal bud, which makes this tree easy to prune, and both spindle and fruiting well as training systems are well suited. Especially Tonic can thrive well in a fruiting well thanks to the good fruit size and its ability to grow fruits close to the trunk. And for the same reason, mechanical pruning is not a problem. The pictures of the 9th leaf trees are trees in fruit wall. This picture is taken 3 weeks before harvest. And next to it is a picture taken at harvest. These trees are in spindle, 4th leaf trees at IFO. So this picture taken at IFO, and here we cut the top of the trees at 2 meters for practical reasons, which explains the height for these 4th leaf trees. In terms of thinning, Tonic belongs to the group of varieties that is relatively easy to thin, which in practice means that we'd recommend a chemical thinning program that is close to golden, rather than to that of Gala. On tolerances to pests and diseases, we got feedback from 10 research stations in Europe that evaluated the susceptibility of Tonic in comparison to Gala on the field, and the result is very clear. Overall, Tonic is considered to be less susceptible than Gala for all pests and diseases. All stations agree that tonic is less susceptible to scab than gala. And also for European canker, 80% of the research stations find tonic less susceptible. When we look at rosy aphids and powdery mildew, about 60% of the stations find it less susceptible, and the rest judge that tonic is at the same level of gala. On harvest and storage potential, tonic is harvested after Fuji. Fruits can be picked at an advanced level of starch degradation, and because it ripens slowly on the tree and that the fruits don't drop, tonic has a very large harvest window. For the same reason, it's very suitable to use mechanical leaf removal. And as well in storage, the maturation progresses slowly. Fruits can be stored for at least 8 months in regular cold storage without 1 MCP, Smart Fresh, and still maintain their eating qualities. We've already pushed it to 12 months and discovered that even in regular air, the fruits remain firm and keep some level of acidity. This is the picture on the right that show tonic after 12 months of storage. We've let the participants of the field day last October at IFO taste some of these fruits that have been stored for 12 months, and they were very impressed by the texture. Of course, you can see that after 12 months of storage, the background of the fruits become yellow. In 2022, the research station KOB Bavendorf in Germany has carried out a storage trial with tonic. They stored fruits in 12 different storage modalities at 1 and 3 degrees, at regular air and controlled atmosphere with different levels of CO2, and all modalities with and without Smart Fresh. And now Bavendorf will share their main findings with you.
Hello there, my name is Felix Büchele. I'm a post-harvest researcher at the Lake of Constance Research Center for Food Cultivation in Southern Germany. I would like to give a very quick summary or overview of our first results or first impressions with the storability of the apple variety tonic. We've now conducted 1 storage experiment in the past season, have 1 currently going on. So these are some very preliminary results that needs to be confirmed, but of course there is some trends that you can already identify. For our experiment, we had fruit from a local grower. They were harvested in the middle of October, and we stored them for 6.5 months until middle of May, under different storage conditions, which was then followed by a shelf life simulation where we kept the fruit for 7 days at 20 degrees Celsius to basically simulate in what condition the fruit would then arrive at the consumers. So, a very quick summary of our results of the quality parameters that we investigated. In the 3 figures there, I show the firmness, the acidity values, and the ground peel color of the tonic apples after storage. All of the values are shown of the treatments that were stored at 1 degree Celsius. On the left in each figure, you can see the values from cold storage, without and with MCP. And on the right, I show the values of CA storage, so that was 1% oxygen and 2.5% CO2. Firmness. In terms of firmness, we could see a very high, very promising firmness conservation of the tonic apple variety. Of course, there was a little bit of a loss of firmness in just cold storage, but this is not really a common practice to keep fruit just under low temperature for this duration. But yeah, we saw a high effectiveness of 1 MCP in RA storage. So with additional 1 MCP, the values of the time of harvest, so this horizontal line that is shown in the figure, could be 100% maintained. The same thing for CA conditions, even without MCP application. So yeah, again, tonic very high firmness maintenance for the storage period, even for the time after the shelf life. Simulation still very high values. Increasing the temperature to 3 degrees Celsius did not show a negative effect on the firmness values. in tonic, and there was not really a difference to be found between lower CO2 levels and higher CO2 levels. For 1 MCP, of course, in CA conditions, there was little extra benefit regarding the firmness values because the values of the time of harvest could be 100% maintained. For the acidity values, we saw a little loss of acidity there. That is, of course, to be expected due to the respiration of the fruit. We saw that 1 MCP application results in a little bit higher acidity values in cold storage. Similar to CA conditions, again, there is little difference there. So yeah, in general, and especially compared to other apple varieties, we see lower or slower acid loss or acid consumption in this tonic variety. So depending on the customers, on the consumers, this is something that perhaps should be considered. For the peel coloration, we saw that CA conditions maintain a greener peel color of the apples compared to cold storage. So in the figure, it shows lower values mean a greener peel color than with the higher values. And again, generally CA conditions maintains a better or greener peel coloration, which is just shows a fresh or just shows a fresh appearance of the fruit. 1 MCP has less of an effect on the peel coloration in cold storage and also not in CA. And also what we saw, increasing the temperature to 3 degrees Celsius can in some instances accelerate the changes in peel coloration. So in that regard, lower temperatures are to be preferred just based on these results. And overall, what we can see is that under CA conditions with higher CO2 levels of 2.5%, the tonic apple variety shows a very high quality conservation, a very promising storage potential, possibly even for longer storage durations that remains to be confirmed then, of course, in further studies. So, of course, a big component of our fruit analysis is also the visual evaluation of the fruit material, meaning we're looking for any possible susceptibilities of the tonic variety to the conditions we establish in a room, meaning is there a sensitivity to chilling injuries or to low oxygen stress of fermentation or to higher CO2 levels? And what we found so far, this is of course only the results of 1 year, but there were none of the CA treatments any disorders symptoms to be found related to low oxygen stress. So we didn't find any internal browning symptoms or cavities, and also higher CO2 levels of up to 2.5% didn't induce any possible skin necrosis. For chilling injuries, same thing. Even at the lower temperatures of 1 degree Celsius, we didn't find any damages caused by low temperature. Higher temperatures, on the other hand, appeared to increase shrivel symptoms a little bit, but still in CA storage the percentage was very low, so this is must be confirmed in further studies, of course. 1 MCP appeared to reduce some disorder symptoms, also shriveling, for example, but again, we had so low percentages that this is something that needs to be seen in further studies. Overall, we can say that there were not any, or we couldn't identify in this experiment any susceptibilities to any of the storage conditions, so that suggests a high flexibility or high storability for the tonic variety. The only thing that we noticed in our fruit material specifically is high prominence of staph symptoms, but that was found across all treatments, and that just shows that was unrelated to the Deutsch conditions, and of course is rather related to pre-harvest factors. And we know from the farmer, from the grower where we received our fruit material from, is that there was a sort of a reduced fungicide application strategy. So it is unlikely, or it's not confirmed in any way, that tonic has a susceptibility to this pathogen, and this is also, yeah, it is unlikely that this is related to the Deutsch conditions itself, just from, of course, based on the analysis of the quality parameters that I described earlier, and yeah, our disorder evaluation, we can see from our experiment a very high or very promising storage potential for even longer times. Of course, again, this is only 1 year and needs to be confirmed, but the first results are promising.
Thank you very much, Felix Büchele, for sharing these results on the storage trial with tonic. So what should you remember from this presentation? That tonic is an attractive bicolored apple with good fruit size, that it has high levels of sugar and acidity, with trees that are productive and easy to grow, and most of all, an excellent storage potential. Or another way to say it, tonic is an apple with a tonic taste all year round.